Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Toad, and today we're going to be talking about spiders, their symbolism, what do they mean, and how you can use them to develop your inner power. So first of all, fear of spiders. Well, first, before we get to the fear of spiders, we have to get to where that fear originates in your childhood, and then we have to get to why does that fear get represented by spiders. So what spiders represent. You'll notice that when you have dreams about spiders, nightmares about spiders, when they manifest themselves in your mind as these irrational fears, you imagine swarms of spiders, huge amounts of spiders that are slowly creeping in on you. These vast hordes that are just marching in steadily, okay? So if it was one spider, you can maybe smash one spider, okay? If it was two spiders, well, that's a bit tougher because then you lose track of one and you might lose the other one, and then it's like, ugh. Skin's crawling. If it's three spiders, you're like, oh shit. Four spiders, and you're fucked. So, when it's whole swarms like that, what it basically represents is strength in numbers. Okay, so a lot of people, they don't learn how to develop healthy dependence. Okay, that includes myself. Most people don't learn how to develop healthy dependence on other people. Everyone wants to be independent because they feel like, because they've been trained to believe that dependence on other people means that you're going to be hurt by other people because they'll use it as a weapon somehow. Another thing is glowing spiders. So glowing spiders actually represent different things depending on what colors they're glowing. So from my own experience, red and blue. Okay, which is the exact same colors as the spider in Spider-Man, which I watched all the time growing up. And basically for me, what that represented is childhood. Basically innocence, what I wanted to be when I was that young, when I was that little, and when I had that much innocence within me. But they could represent different things. For example, if you'd have to decode the colors yourself. There's lots of videos on the symbols of colors, but you kind of have to intertwine them with your own life. But if there's whole swarms of spiders that have a very similar color scheme to your childhood, then they probably represent the healthy dependence that you had early on when you were super little. And that gradually degraded as you grew up, which is why this swarm of spiders is now attacking you, because it's basically your brain telling you, hey, you're isolated, you've become a piece of ice, you need to get out of this ice cube, or you're gonna die. Another thing is that when you have swarms of spiders coming in through vents and through windows and through all sorts of orifices within your house, okay, or within whatever building you're in, that represents all of your insecurities. All of the insecurities and all of the weaknesses by which other people exploit to take advantage of you. So whatever little dependence you have on other people, the spiders entering through these vents and orifices within your house represent the fact that you're afraid of those few dependencies that you have becoming your downfall. When in fact, the lack of healthy interdependence that you have is why the spiders are there in the first place. Spiders also have another meaning. Spiders can also represent your innermost ugly and seething rage, anger, complete suppression of your worst and most disgusting feelings. And then eventually, one feeling at a time, one suppression at a time, and one day at a time, they number up until those things come back and consume you. And then, before you know it, you're having a mental breakdown, and all of that disgusting poison that you've built up in your brain is now spewing out everywhere and hurting everybody. They also represent the daunting complexity of life. Because for people that have arachnophobia, such as myself, part of what makes spiders so terrifying is all of their legs. Like, it seems like they have millions of legs and millions of eyes that keep warping around each other, and it's just vile and disgusting. And the reason that terrifies people, and myself included, is because it's complex. It's so complicated, and that reflects complexity within life. Nothing can really be simple if you have all of these ties that are all interconnected, because you didn't really learn how to have healthy interdependence. You learned how to have unhealthy interdependence. And so that complexity disgusts you because of that. You think that connections will lead to disgusting complexity, when in fact the right connections lead to much simpler issues and much simpler solutions to those issues. Now, to get back to that color subject, we're going to have to dive into what it means to be able to feel into the context of a color, of an emotion, or of a situation. So essentially for me, I know that yellow represents a time in my life when I started losing my childlike innocence growing up. And so if I see yellow spiders in a dream, then I know that that represents what I perceive to be that seething rage that I just kept suppressing down into myself because I didn't want the punishment of actually saying how I felt. But you have to be able to feel into colors. So it's not going to be yellow that represents losing your childlike innocence. It might be green or it might be blue. You have to be able to tell what colors represent what for you, and you don't really even have to know why. You just have to be able to feel it. And I think I have a video on feeling the vibe of something. And if I do, I will have a link in the description. And if I don't, then that was all bullshit. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. And quick fact, before humans showed up, lions were the most common species on the planet. Goodbye.